can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me. And I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's up? Happy Monday. FT Live. Let's begin the off season. Let's get people assigned to their manager roles. Besides Kratz, stop pushing Kratz to manager roles.
That's what he wants to do.
Is it though?
I mean, he
Kratz,
said it.
if you could have one job, obviously besides FT host, what would it be in baseball? Because I know what it would be. Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
Own the Oakland A's.
A, I wouldn't want to move out to California. B, I'm already managing. I have a lifetime contract. I'm managing the high school team.
Exactly. Okay, take that back. Own the Scranton, whatever? No.
The rail rider thingy.
The Rail Riders?
That he wears the hat of every day. And the Clippers. One of the two.
No, not Columbus Clippers because they don't want to move. So.
Oh, you mean? Oh, no. We'll have to wait to see.
Not yet. 2 hours away. So today we're going to talk to Max Muncy in about an hour about his contract extension with the Dodgers. Andrés Giménez, who won another Gold Glove and has a new skipper. We'll do that later on. And then Kyle Glaser is going to join us in about 15 minutes to give us the lowdown on Yamamoto, who pitched way too many pitches the other day. I don't know. Might turn some people off. We'll get to it. Let's charge the damn mound and go over some money moves. So there were 1 billion transactions over the last 3 days. And yes, there's some manager news and some front office news in terms of who has filled some roles. But let's start with some player news. Anything stand out to you? I mean, obviously, for example, we can show this tweet. The White Sox are declining the option on shortstop Tim Anderson. It's not a surprise given the season that he just had. It was $14 million. It wasn't going to happen. Any of the options that were either picked up or declined that stood out to you? Eduardo Rodriguez opts out of his deal, 3 years, $49 million. Marcus Stroman's going to be a free agent now as he opts out of his deal. They all made sense, right? Chad Green picked up by the Blue Jays. They picked up his weird option situation, 2 years, about 21 mil.
Sean Manaea's one was interesting to me. I looked at it a little bit more. He had more success down the finishing like 2 months of the season. I think he was supposed to still make $12.5 million. I think it's an intriguing thing that he's now a free agent. I think he's part of that third tier of pitching. You know, I feel like he could be like although everyone's pumping up Giolito, I feel like he could be like in that realm, like somebody that wasn't a starter. Somebody like the Brewers could pick him up because he wasn't a starter. He was used in the bulk role. But I think he threw like 117, 120 innings, something like that. I think it would give somebody an opportunity to say, we could probably buy low with this guy. Yeah, but why the hell not take his $12 million option? That's what doesn't make sense.
Why wouldn't he? He's going to get more.
You think he's going to get more than $12.5 million?
Yes, they only do this if they think they're going to get more.
No, I understand that, but I mean,
total, yes.
He won't get 12.5 a year.
Like, he didn't pitch very well this year.
He's going to get more than
12.5
million guaranteed dollars.
Is he neither?
He's a starter.
He was awful as a starter this year.
He was a bulk guy coming in sometimes after the opener.
When he started, he didn't pitch very well. So which one is he? I mean, you've got to have a good agent.
Here's my thing.
There was no one that really surprised me. I mean,
I was surprised he took
Rodriguez, Erod, 349. He can probably get more than that because it's a weaker-ish free agent class.
Everyone needs 3 starters.
Oh, I know. I understand that. Tim Anderson, that was probably the one that was probably the hardest decision for the White Sox because he was a first-round pick and he'd been there for a while, and everyone thought he was going to be a superstar, and he kind of fizzled out this year. $14 million though. The question is, what are the White Sox? I love reading some of the White Sox quotes from like Chris Getz, and they're like, "We're not rebuilding, but we don't have a shortstop, a starting pitcher, a right fielder, a second baseman, a catcher. We don't have like 7 positions, but we're not rebuilding. We're going to be better next year." Like what? Like what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But again,
I think
White Sox are the best.
they're disrespecting the AL Central, saying
Well, that's also
we
true.
can turn things around in 5 minutes in that division, which
Yeah,
it's
but
the
you
easiest
can
division in
if you
baseball.
spend money.
Correct.
Are they going to spend money?
You tell me.
Probably not. I mean, we all know the answer to that. So if you're not, but again, they have Michael Kopech and Dylan Cease that are starters. If Kopech's a starter again, they have no catcher, Corey Lee, who hit like 0.52 this year. I don't know what the exact numbers were, but it wasn't very good.
Mm-hmm.
Their first base, fine. Second base, they have no shortstop unless they bring up Colson Montgomery, who's their number one prospect.
He's going to come up next year.
But is he going to start the season in the big leagues?
He's Corey Seager.
Okay, if you say so.
That's what the comps are.
Yeah, and I was Johnny Bench. I mean, I hope he is. I hope he turns out to be Corey Seager. That'd be a hell of a get. Third base, Moncada, you counting on him? I mean, they got Luis Robert in center. You got Eloy, who can't stay healthy. And in right field, they got, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned their bullpen. They gave up on Hendricks. They traded Graveman. They got rid of Kelly. They got Aaron Bummer. I guess Aaron Bummer's going to pitch every inning.
They have the opportunity to build their whole team back in one offseason.
In one offseason. That works well if you're the Yankees and you're going to spend $500 million, or you're the Rangers and go out and get Seager, Simeon. I mean, listen, Chris Getz, he's the new GM. He's got all the power, so I hope he does the right moves.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea what their payroll is now with all of those guys? Technically, I know some of them, they have to pay for their options, but like, I'm sure they couldn't just get rid of Tim Anderson. I'm sure there's some kind of buyout that was in his contract, but like they have so much. Are they going to spend more than $50 million this offseason? Like on not overall, but like on next year's salaries.
Well, they were at 190 something million this year, right?
Yeah, it was something like that.
197, I think it was. It was like in the top 10 in baseball, the White Sox.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was high.
I thought they were like
170
something, but
it was in
you
the
would
top
know
10.
better.
It was in the top 10 in baseball going into the season.
I will find that out. Can't put me on the spot like that.
Well, I'm just saying, they were top 10 in baseball because that was the whole thing. They're like, White Sox fans were like, we're spending all this money and we lost 100 games. Now we're not going to spend any money and we're not going to lose 100 games? I don't know. I think it's an interesting approach. Hopefully it works out. Obviously, there'll be some non-tender guys you can pick up. There'll be some trades they're going to have to make. But what was it?
It was one opening day, 181.
Okay.
And it was 14th, so
Okay.
mid-range. Okay, not
But
far
still,
off. You're right.
The highest in the Central, wasn't it? Maybe the Twins?
I think theirs were higher. Yeah, they were higher than the Twins by 30 million.
So the White Sox were the highest in the Central. Clearly, because
Yes.
Kansas City wasn't higher, Detroit wasn't higher, and
Yes.
Cleveland definitely wasn't higher.
Yeah.
So, and then they freed up.
It's much higher than Arizona.
But still, I mean,
props.
I think there's a lot of work to be done there. And here's the thing for me with Tim Anderson, you just gave him up for nothing. Why not bring him back at $14 million? It's $14 million, let's be honest. I mean, yeah, it's a lot to.
Is he going to get that on the market?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But here's the thing. If let's say he goes into spring training, bangs, gets off to a hot start, there's going to be a team out there that's going to need a second baseman, a shortstop, something.
But you could
trade him and get
sign
something
him for less.
You're gonna you think
he's
they're not going to re-sign him?
I understand that, but I'm saying they're saying that the value's not there right now.
Okay. I mean,
Just throwing that out.
You need
there.
a starting shortstop in the big leagues. Whatever you say about Tim Anderson, no power this year, his batting average down, all that stuff, on base percentage. A starting shortstop in the big leagues is really hard to find. You're not just plugging somebody in.
But he's also not a plus defender. He's also not he hit one home run this year. He had an awful year. I mean, listen, everyone has bad years. You just don't normally see a guy go from like hitting 300 to hitting 200 with one homer and bad defense. I mean, whatever metrics you look at, the defense wasn't good. He didn't steal bases because he couldn't get on base. He doesn't walk. So the power is in the hit, or the value is in his hit and his speed. But if you can't get on base, you can't run. And if you can't hit, you can't get on base because he doesn't walk. It's just an interesting conundrum with him because I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what he gets. I mean, listen, I hope Tim gets everything he wants and ends up in a place where he plays every day and gets money.
Everything to me was pretty status quo. The only thing I want to point out, and then we have breaking news on the manager front, Mark Hanna was traded. So that was the first, in my mind, significant trade. It's an MLB player. This is a big league regular outfielder. Yes, the power and the defense, I would say even last year went down a little bit for him. But overall, I mean, he played well with the Brewers. He is an on-base guy. He goes from Milwaukee to the Tigers for a prospect. And in my mind, Kratz, this is pretty classic Brewers. They're not going to spend, what is it, 6 figures? No, sorry, 7, 8 figures in one season on an outfielder like this if they don't have to, right? Obviously, the Yelich contract's a different beast, but it was an $11 million option. Clearly, they were going to decline it, so they shopped him around, and the Tigers are like, yeah, sure. For them, I think it's a great pickup. They need a Mark Canha in that lineup, in that clubhouse, getting on base like that around an outfield now that could be pretty decent. I mean, Riley Green is going to be a good ball player. He already was, and I mean, the ceiling is off the charts. And then I like Parker Meadows too. So that's a nice little trio out there that they picked up really for not much.
It'll help those young hitters that, have already been in the big leagues and are going to keep coming up to the big leagues. I think his professional at-bats, you saw what him and Santana did to that Brewers lineup. Ultimately, it wasn't enough. But the fact that they essentially, they traded him. He didn't have another year on his contract. The option had to be picked up. And for $11 million, you're getting an $11 million player who had a above 2, I think, WAR this year. A guy who gets on base, a guy who is going to steal you double-digit bases. Like, you're paying $11 million for a solid player that I think if the Tigers become a team that starts going after that AL Central, obviously they're going to need pitching. Obviously, they're going to need their young guys to step up. Like Torkelson, he got his 30 homers last year. So you're starting to see some of these young pieces, and you add in Mark Canha type of pieces. I don't know if the Tigers are ever going to go to the level of spending like they did back in the, Cabrera and Sheffield and Pudge and Curtis Granderson era, but that's a great pickup for him. And anytime the Brewers pick up a reliever in a trade that had like some success the year before at one of the higher levels in the minor leagues, you're like, that guy could be pretty decent.
Dude, I know, Kratz, you have a love for the Brewers, but it's been funny to me on the show. You've already said that they're like making all the best moves. They're going to pick up everybody. I mean, it's kind of like he's like, well, they could pick up this person. They got rid of Canha. They're going to make, and I'm like, man, dude, if the Brewers make all these moves, they might actually get to the World Series.
But wait, the biggest news of all, it sounds like their manager's not coming back. Yeah. Ready for this? Let's drop it. Breaking news. There's all kinds of manager dominoes falling right now. So first off, the New York Mets are hiring Carlos Mendoza as their next manager. 43 years old. He was bench coach for the New York Yankees over the past 4 years. I'm going to drop this down at the same time, okay? Because I think many people in the Mets world, or at least that were following the Mets, thought that Craig Counsell might end up there. We saw that the Brewers gave him a pretty substantial offer. There were reports out there that they made him an offer to be the highest paid manager. Ready for this from Ken? Oof, the tweet just disappeared on me. Hold on. Well, Craig Counsell will manage next season. This is from Ken. But not the Brewers or Mets. He is heading to a team with an existing manager. Mets hiring Carlos Mendoza per
White Sox,
Joel, John, etc.
Can we say White Sox?
Are they going to make him the highest paid manager ever?
Can we say White Sox?
This is not a White Sox show. Okay?
Close to Milwaukee. It's not a Brewer show either, but I mean, we get it. We got it this morning.
I've mentioned second tier players that could sign with the Brewers for a low cost, and AJ's
you said Shamanaya was going to the Brewers. The guy that whoever they picked up for Mark Canha, the reliever guy. I mean, you're like Craig Counsell. You're like, man, again. Brewers might get there for the first time since '82. Harvey, they're bringing back Harvey's wall bangers. Damn it!
And T Plush, Niger Morgan's gonna be the bench coach.
I don't know. Where can Counsell go? A team with a manager? So they're just going to be like, hey, by the way, you're fired. We're hiring Craig. Oh, but that's teams have done that before.
All right, you got to say who is it? Who do you think it is?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who.
Definitely the Rangers. They hate Bochy.
Astros. Do the Astros have a manager?
No.
No, they don't count.
Someone with an existing manager because Dusty Baker retired.
But it's got to be a team ready to compete because Craig Counsell's not going to go to like.
Can I throw an idea out there? What about the Yankees?
Oh, no way. They would do Boone dirty like that? That would be dirty.
That would be dirty.
Oof, I can't.
Help me out. Throw teams out there because
maybe
you
they're
know
going to hire
come out soon.
They just lost their bench coach. Maybe they're going to have Counsell as a manager and make Boone the bench coach.
No.
Okay. Well,
I'm just looking at tweets. Jim Bowden said Counsell to the Padres makes way too much sense on so many levels. Wait and see if it happens. Angels also have an opening. But Ken said there's an existing manager.
See you later,
That's
Scott
throwing me
Service.
that was the one. Seattle was the
Really?
one.
No way. No way. Seattle's not paying top dollar for a manager.
Plus Counsell tries to win more than 54% of the time. So
no way.
He's not going to be able to manage in Seattle.
That's a definite no.
Royals? No, he wouldn't.
See you later. See you later,
Tigers, no.
Carlos Marmol.
Well, it's Ollie Marmol. So
I know
Carlos
it's Ollie
Marmol.
Thank you.
Carlos Marmol was a pitcher that
He was
once bought a Ferrari and tried to drive around, and he couldn't get it over a certain mile per hour. And they asked him if he had taken the emergency brake off, and he hadn't. So it wouldn't go over like 40 miles an hour. He couldn't figure out why. That's a true story.
Wait, repeat that.
He bought a Ferrari.
Tweets. Who is this?
Carlos Marmol.
Marmol.
He was a pitcher for the Cubs, and he bought it and it had the emergency brake on. He took it out to drive it, and he's like, it won't go over 40 miles an hour. And he brought it back in. He never took the emergency brake off.
Yeah, so he's not going to be the manager.
Chapman bought a Ferrari or something, Lamborghini, and tore the exhaust system out of it, driving into the Louisville Bats parking lot when he was playing for the AAA Reds.
Who?
Chappie, Raldis Chapman.
All right, let's stay on task here. Because also, in terms of manager dominoes, we might as well just drop this in here now, too. Stephen Vogt is the manager of the Cleveland Guardians, right?
By the way,
that's been reported.
Carlos Mendoza's Wikipedia already has him as the manager of the Mets.
Do you guys know any of these people, too? They look at you guys. Do you know Vogt? Do you know Mendoza?
I know Vogt, obviously.
Okay.
Playing against him, but I don't know him. Kratz knows him way better.
What are you doing? Oh, is that to you? To your diary?
I hung it up. Yeah, Voter's a guy, man. I played with him when he was injured in Milwaukee. They brought me in because he wasn't going to be able to come back. And then the Giants, in a turn of events, brought him in to take over my spot in San Francisco next year in 19. Awesome dude, great friend, family. Our wives are friends. His kids are freaking super cute. And he's gonna be great in Cleveland. Whatever Cleveland puts behind their organization, players wise, that's a whole nother topic. But if there's somebody that can get the most out of a team, I'm thinking it's him. Obviously, he's never managed before, but he is just a great connection guy. He does a great job of understanding so many players because he was everything. He was an all-star. He had a guaranteed contract. He was a non-prospect. He became, he built himself into the player that he ended up having an incredible career as.
I'm waiting, Scott.
For who it is? It's not going to break this second.
You just
Why?
wrote I'll break in a second.
No, not that break.
Oh.
That's in our group chat. I said.
So you guys didn't even say. You guys need. Who do you think he's going to? You got to.
I gave you names.
I love this one.
No, we need a lock.
I love this one. Somebody had who was it? Derek, one of our guys that works for us, said Boston. Cora moves up to GM. Breslow, boom.
Breslow, boom. What?
Breslow's president of baseball ops.
Yeah.
Slide Cora into GM. Counsell into manager. It's not a bad thought. And they'll pay.
Hang on one second.
Players.
Hang on 1 second.
Did
Breslow ever come across Counsell in his playing days?
Probably.
Does that matter?
Yeah, does that
Breslow
matter?
I don't know. I mean, just.
All right. So let's step aside for a sec, and then we'll come back, and we are supposed to talk to Kyle Glaser about Yamamoto. So I'm sure in the next whatever amount of time we'll get the answer. And actually, that was our poll question. Craig Counsell will be managing A, Astros, B, Brewers, C, Padres, D, other. Go with D, other. WatchStadium.com/foul territory. Kyle Glaser smiling, ready to talk. Yamamoto next.
Yeah, I grew up an Angels fan, so like I've seen Ohtani and Trout through the system, and I mean I was alive during the World Series. Do I really remember it? Not one bit. But like that was the era before Trout and Ohtani were with the Angels. So it's like I grew up watching guys like Tim Salmon, Howie Kendrick, Sean Figgins. And that was obviously a time where the Angels were pretty dang good.
Yeah.
um,
Gloss,
but
right?
as far as catchers, I've been I watched my entire life Buster Posey. Um, I've been watching of lately JT Realmuto because he's the upper echelon of a catcher. Yachty I think is in a different level of just catching, so it's like not that it's not attainable, but it's like Yadier Molina is Yadier Molina, and he does things that just may not make sense to the normal person. Um, and JT is just like that, but I think that as far as how he handles the game, also defensively, and then JT goes out there consistently hitting usually 260, 270 in the big leagues with 15 homers, and I think he swiped 20 bags this year. It's like, why not be as athletic as possible behind the plate and be a force to be reckoned with back there? And it showed. He got paid, and that's the goal by any guy, is to win a championship and get paid. It's if you're not trying to do both those things in this game, then honestly you're not playing for the right reasons.
And now back to foul territory.
Woo. Crazy Monday. Let's take a breath for a second, though, okay? And let's focus on one of the biggest free agent starters on the market who had himself a weekend. Kyle Glaser from Baseball America's senior writer joining us right now. You can follow him at Kyle A. Glaser. And Kyle, great to see you. Happy off season to you, obviously, as you can tell. Pretty busy day already. How's your week going?
It's going pretty well. Just got back from wrapping up the World Series last week and came back this week, took care of some stuff around the house. And I'm on the West Coast, so wake up Monday morning, a lot of news right away. Definitely a busy Monday already, but this is the fun time, the off season.
Agreed. I want to jump right into your coverage of Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who is going to be one of the highest paid free agents this offseason. You've been covering him for years. So first off, let me just get your big picture look at what you've seen from him. Anything you can give us that has been unique to your experience of covering him over the last several years.
Yeah, look, this is one of the best pitchers to come out of Japan. And that's saying something when you look at the history of Hideo Nomo and Masahiro Tanaka and Yu Darvish, of course, Shohei Ohtani. He has just won his third straight Sawamura Award, which is the equivalent of the Japanese Cy Young Award. He's a back-to-back winner of the MVP award in the Japanese Pacific League. He's the only pitcher in Nippon professional baseball history to throw no-hitter in back-to-back seasons. Again, Nomo didn't do that. Tanaka didn't do that. Darvish didn't do that. This is one of the best, most decorated pitchers, not just in the game today in Japan, but all time. And that's saying something when you consider the rich history of pitchers to come out of Japan.
Is there concern that he kind of had a down year in his terms compared to the previous 2 years when he was absolutely lights out?
No, not at all. I mean, when you consider his down year is he just struck out 14 batters in Game 6 of the Japan series, breaking a record for a single game Japan series mark set by Yu Darvish, and just won his third straight equivalent of the Japanese Cy Young Award. And what we saw just from a scouting perspective is he was already great. He's someone that teams have wanted for years. But talking to some pro scouting directors, they feel like he took even another step forward this year, just in terms of the crispness of his stuff, how quickly and efficiently he was working. This is someone that isn't just someone who's going to come over and be a part of a staff. This is someone who can come over and lead a staff as a number 2 starter. No one sees him as anything worse than a number 3 starter. And whatever reservations teams had about maybe he's a little on the small side, he's plenty strong. He's shown the ability to hold his stuff deep into games. There were very few doubts about him coming into the year, and whatever lingering doubts there were, he eliminated them. He's a consensus, front of the rotation type of arm in MLB.
Well, there's one good thing he doesn't have to worry about. He threw 138 pitches in his last start. He ain't going to have to do that in MLB. He'll throw 70, and they'll be like, yep, you're tired. Time to hit the bricks, kid. See you in a week. I mean, that's a good thing, right? He's shown the ability to do it. The bad part is we'll never get to see him do it because everybody will yank him out after 70 pitches.
Yeah, and that's the big thing with him. He's a smaller guy. He's 5'8", 176. Obviously, there's not many major league starters of any type, aces or back end guys that are that size. But he's strong within his frame. He's got a fast arm. He's a good athlete. And he's shown that ability throughout his career. He's thrown at least 170 innings, 3 consecutive seasons. And again, you see him holding 95, 96 into eighths, into ninths. There's really not much concern about his durability just because he's gone out there and shown it. Now, there's always a transition period. In Japan, pitchers only throw once a week. They come over to the US, it comes once every 5 days. The ball's a little bit different, but we've seen a lot of standout pitchers make that transition no problem. Again, Darvish, Tanaka, Ohtani, all the way back to Nomo, Daisuke Matsuzaka. This guy is on that level, so there's not really concern about his ability to make that transition going from pitching once a week to once every 5 days, even though he's not the biggest guy in the world.
Do we know anything about his desires in the sense of talking to Masahiro Tanaka? He didn't want to pitch for anybody but the Yankees. He had this historic view of the Yankees. Even when his years with the Yankees were done, he told me, I will not re-sign with anybody except for the Yankees. And he stuck to that. So does Yamamoto have any concerns like that? Is there, do we know anything on that end?
Nothing public. Again, Masahiro Tanaka was very much, Yankees tried and true. That was clear even when he was coming out. Shohei Ohtani made very clear early on he wanted to pitch on the West Coast or in the western half of the U.S. at least. There hasn't been anything like that surrounding Yamamoto yet. Now, again, he still has yet to be formally posted. His team Orcs announced they were going to. It isn't done yet. There's still a lot of time to go in the offseason. Negotiations will unfold. Patterns will emerge. But at this exact moment in time, there's not really any specified geographic location that he reportedly favors. And teams from all over have been scouting him. The Cubs have been aggressively scouting him. The Red Sox, the Giants, Dodgers, Padres, Yankees, all the teams that we see are typically active in getting the top talent from Asia. They're all involved coast to coast because this is one of those talents that if you have a shot, you're going to take it.
What have you heard on the downside from scouts? Have you spoken to any scouts that are kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum here, Kyle, where they've said, you know what, our team is not going to fork up this kind of cash for an undersized right-hander, or, hey, we don't like how he's been pitching quite a bit over there. For example, 138 for some front offices, they're like hiding their eyes and saying, please make it stop. They're projecting
like
forward
I said,
already.
You don't have to worry about it because you'll never get past 75.
I know, but they're already looking back, being like, first injury, we're going to blame this Japan series
That's right,
on it.
to 138 pitches.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I've actually actively tried to find that because you're right. The only right-hander who's a comparable size and frame is Marcus Stroman, and even Stroman's a little bigger. But I've been really surprised that I have not found anyone who is worried about him just because of what he's done, how strong he is, how the arm works. It's a clean delivery. And again, the big thing with him is he has a clean bill of health. This isn't a guy who's only been throwing 90 innings a year for 3 years in Japan. He's been going 170 plus the last 3 years, into 150s earlier in his career. He's held up really well, and there's not really any health concerns. So again, you never know. There's always a concern with every Japanese pitcher about, the mileage on their arms, especially the way they're thrown as used. You look at the Koshien tournament, there's guys throwing 200 pitches. But all in all, his medical reports to date are clean. He's shown the ability to log innings. He's shown the ability to hold his stuff and his command deep into games. He's got a deep pitch mix. I mean, everything you want to see from a guy, he has shown it. So there's not really any concern despite the fact he is smaller.
So when I see Japanese pitchers come over, and I have a different evaluation for hitters, Japanese hitters, in a sense, are AAA type of contact-oriented hitters. Obviously, guys in AAA strike out a lot. I think it was maybe it wasn't your article. Yeah, it was your article. You wrote that he's a 2 or a 3.
Yep.
And yet he is projected to make $200 million. So what I look at is outs in the zone. Outs in the zone is a huge precursor. We don't know what the hitters he was facing. We don't know, we know the level of hitters, and some of them are big league type of hitters, but most of them are just maybe a step down, maybe more like a platoon type of big league hitter. And his outs in the zones, he has 84 outs outside of the zone, strikeouts, 84 strikeouts in the zone. Comparable,
Yep.
The only other pitcher, Jordan Montgomery, that's a free agent this year. Jordan Montgomery is 80 and 86. 80 outside the zone, so very similar. Jordan Montgomery is how many years older and is looking to get 120, maybe 200 million is not enough.
You look, he's someone that is going to get paid. There's no question about it. You talk about the stuff in and out of the zone. He can blow hitters away with his fastball in the zone. It's 94, 96. He's been up to 99. It's got life. And the way it just comes out of his hand, it's like a speeding bullet. It just gets on hitters. It's direct. It's sharp. He can locate to both sides of the plate. He can elevate it. So again, it's not just pure stuff with him. It's command. And also he's aggressive. He pounds the strike zone. So even though maybe some of his strikeouts come outside the zone, he's setting it up because he's so aggressive in the zone. Fastball, drops that plus splitter down below it. Guys are helpless. And he's got a really good curveball too. One of the things with a lot of Asian pitchers, Japanese pitchers in particular, is you see a lot of times they have good fastballs, good splitters. The breaking stuff maybe just needs a little more refinement. And because it's not thrown a whole lot over there, he's actually rare and unique in that he has a plus curveball already. So you're getting a guy with 3+ pitches out the gate. He can set hitters up in the zone, finish them out of the zone. He can beat them in the zone. It's the ability to get out so many different ways with so many different pitches that makes him so appealing and why most projections have him getting that 7-year, $200 million type deal. Got to remember, he's in his mid-20s too. This isn't a guy who's in his early 30s and you're looking at a shorter window of his prime. In a lot of cases, he's still got his prime ahead of him. And again, even though it might not show up statistically, from a scouting perspective, a lot of evaluators thought he was even better this year than previous years. This is a guy who's still getting better. And in his mid-20s, I mean, you guys know a lot of guys don't really peak till 28, 29. His best years might still be in front of him.
2 questions for you on this front. Number one, does it matter when a head of a front office goes out to watch a player like this pitch in person, or is it still just going to be about money? You know, if the Oakland A's or whoever it is offers him more money, even if they're a shittier franchise, right, and they won't even give you a chair that works, you're going to go there. Is that a thing you think? I know Kratz mentioned Tanaka, but specifically in this case, and also Tanaka was a long time ago at this point. Curious on that front, and also if teams talk to players like Yamamoto about how they're going to use him, where Kodai Senga was really more of a once-a-week pitcher for the Mets. They almost always gave him an extra day of rest, which I think made a difference for him.
Yeah, so in terms of relationships formed by general managers going over there, that's really player dependent, no different than American players. Some players, those interpersonal relationships are really important. Others, it's show me the money. And with, Shohei Ohtani, for example, his relationship with Billy Epler, specifically Epler scouting him since he was a rookie with the Yankees, that played a role in his decision to sign with the Angels. In terms of Yamamoto, there have been no public outward signs of anything like that, where there's a special relationship he has with someone that will play a factor here. Ultimately, at the end of the day, we have to remember these negotiations haven't even started. He still hasn't even officially been posted. Teams haven't had the ability to engage with him yet. So once he's officially posted, teams are able to start engaging with him and his agent. We'll get a better sense for how much that means to him, but a lot of that's still to be determined.
Okay, I'll probably get this name wrong. Shota Imanaga.
Yeah.
Imanaga.
Imanaga? Okay,
Yeah,
Imanaga.
Shota Imanaga.
Imanaga?
Yeah.
Is he fitting himself in the top 20 free agents? Is that a lefty that has devastating off speed, but maybe the fastball that might not quite play at the big league level? Or what are we looking at with him or other free agents that are coming over from Japan, Korea?
Yeah, so Shota Imanaga, we saw him start for Team Japan in the World Baseball Classic Finals against Team USA through the first couple innings. He's more of a crafty left-hander who's seen as kind of a back-end starter, a number 4, number 5, league average type of guy. His fastballs sits 91, 92, can get up to 95. And it's more of a deep pitch mix. He doesn't have a nasty split. His slider is just kind of an average pitch, but he's able to move the ball around. He's able to change hitters' eye levels. He's able to kind of keep them off balance. He's a really smart left-hander, and he was very efficient. Most teams view him as that number 4, number 5, gives you 5 solid innings, and then you pull him out. There are a few evaluators who think that he might be best in more of a long relief role. We saw him pitch those 2 innings to start the finale of the World Baseball Classic against Team USA, and his stuff ticked up a little bit. And so there's a sense that if you put him in a 2-inning type of stint, all of a sudden he can be a little bit overpowering. But as a true starter, which is what most teams are going to want their option A to be in signing him, again, it's more that crafty lefty, back of the rotation, 4 pitches, knows how to pitch, and can give you 5 solid innings than any sort of front of the rotation type of starter.
Kyle, awesome to talk to you and definitely get the lowdown on Yamamoto and a little bit here on Imanaga. Got other guys to ask you about next time, so we'd love to have you back soon, obviously, to talk about Lee, the Korean outfielder, and also lefty reliever Yuki Matsui. But, of course, Craig Counsell decided to just absolutely rock our world today. So we appreciate you, Kyle. We'd love to have you back on pretty soon, all right?
My pleasure. Anytime, guys.
Thank you, Kyle Glaser. And you can find him on Twitter, of course, Kyle A. Glaser. X, whatever you want to call it, from Baseball America, best in the biz covering this stuff. So we'll bring him back soon. Craig Counsell to the up. We'll be right back.
I grew up watching guys like Tim Salmon, Howie Kendrick, Sean Figgins. And that was obviously a time where the Angels were pretty dang good.
Yeah. Gloss.
But
right.
As far as catchers, I've been I watched my entire life Buster Posey. I've been watching of lately JT Realmuto because he's the upper echelon of a catcher. Yachty I think is in a different level of just catching, so it's like not that it's not attainable, but it's like Yadier Molina is Yadier Molina, and he does things that just may not make sense to the normal person. And JT is just like that. But I think that as far as how he handles the game, also defensively, and then JT goes out there consistently hitting usually 260, 270 in the big leagues with 15 homers. And I think he swiped 20 bags this year. It's like, why not be as athletic as possible behind the plate and be a force to be reckoned with back there? And it showed. He got paid, and that's the goal by any guy, is to win a championship and get paid. If you're not trying to do both those things in this game, then honestly you're not playing for the right reasons. So that's one guy I try to not necessarily emulate, but it's like I love watching his game because he goes about it the right way, and my goal is to be like that. And some advice Nito actually gave me, he's like, who's the best catcher in the big leagues every year? And it's like, you can say Realmuto, you can say even Jonah Heim this year, but it's like you always go back to who won the championship at the end, because that's the best catcher in the big leagues because they won the World Series.
And now back to foul territory. Who wants to do it? Because we've been talking about it for a while.
Chicago guy.
After AJ, who wants to do it?
Chicago
Raise
guy.
your hand. Raise your hand on the news. Who wants to report it?
Your hand's up.
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm not doing it. It's one of you two. Well, let's give it to Kratz.
Yeah,
let's show
I'll
Kratz.
do it because the Cubs are his secret team, so he can celebrate inside.
Okay, ready? Go ahead.
Craig Counsell to the Chicago Cubs.
Boom, breaking news. And Ken Rosenthal's been all over this story all day, so props to him. But
I'm mad at Ken.
Why?
Because I texted him 5 minutes before his 5 minutes to go tweet, and I said, I know you know who it is. And he said, I don't. If I did, I'd break it. And I called him a liar. And then 30 seconds later, he tweeted the Cubs. So, liar, Ken.
You got the confirmation.
You're a liar, Ken.
What?
You were getting
freaking
your text
day.
got in the way of Counsell's text to him.
You're pissed. Is David Ross pissed? He's in a contract.
Where did he go?
He just got fired.
Well, he's still getting paid.
Or maybe he was leaving. Maybe there's another job that's out there that he felt like he was going to flock to. There's still a million jobs opening. The Padres job is not filled. The Angels job is not filled.
Mm-hmm.
Who else?
Padres and
I said Padres. Is that it?
Brew Crew. What if him
Brewers,
and
Astros? There's 4.
What if Frost goes to the Brewers and Counsell goes?
That'd be awesome.
The old switcheroo.
It could happen. Your thoughts? I mean, does this blow your mind? First off, we know the Cubs, we didn't even hear about them as interviewing him, although they probably know him pretty well. I think the interview process for someone like Craig Counsell's pretty tired anyway. Like, oh, hey.
This is some backwater dealing here, back channel. Angel or
It went like this. Ready?
agent. Boop, 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 boop. We're going to talk
Council's
over
on
the table.
FaceTime, and they're
Boop,
just
boop,
like,
boop. Yep.
Hold
he
on,
was a free
hold on,
agent, so
Craig.
he could talk to anybody. I wouldn't say it was back channel dealing. I would just
Well,
say,
it wasn't. It was kept under wraps because we didn't hear that he
Oh,
was
yeah.
going to interview, and you can't do that because you have a manager in place. So if you're going to make a move like that, it's got to be on the phone. You got to drop numbers and
We couldn't
say,
have shown up for an interview because somebody would have seen him.
No.
right.
You don't think you can make it to Chicago? It's like 45 minutes from Milwaukee.
All it would take is one person to see. I mean, unless they hit him walking into the stadium, there's nowhere a restaurant he could go to. I mean,
Unless
there's
somebody sees his Cavs, they are not knowing that Craig Counsell is a big league manager.
There's people that would know, I promise you. And around Wrigley Field, there's people that would know.
Okay, so
Adam
maybe
McCalvey
don't.
covers the team and says, managing the Cubs keeps Counsell close to home. 2 daughters finish high school. 2 sons play college baseball at Minnesota and Michigan. He inherits a team on the rise with huge resources. It all makes logical sense, but wow. I mean, they could just talk to. Also, there's phones, there's FaceTime, all that stuff.
I just
Google
don't-
Meet, whatever.
It
And
just
it's
blows
money.
my mind because David Ross was like remember? Oh, he's the dream candidate to take over for Joe Madden. He's the greatest. He's Grandpa Rossi. He's got all the room. Everyone respects him. Da 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 da. And now he's gone. I mean, this isn't the first time the Cubs they did a Renneria to Madden. They won a World Series, right? But I mean, you just think about the history of David Ross with the Cubs. You're like, oh, he'll be there for life. Like Jed Hoyer's still there. The Theo Epstein connection. He had Rizzo and Brian. He was their best friends, and John Lester. And now, all of a sudden, I mean, listen, a former teammate. I hope he ends up. I'm sure he'll land on his feet, whether it's on TV or at another job. But this is kind of surprising that because he wasn't. Although he did take heat at the end of last year, he did take some heat because they collapsed at the end of the year, and he was starting to get some heat. But still, man,
Did you see their bullpen at the end of last year?
I know, but still, man, David Ross was like a Cub legend, and now he gone.
Their bullpen was like me asking who wants to break the Craig Counsell news. Who wants to come in? And then everyone's like, they can't lift their arms. They're like, no, please don't call on me to come in. Their bullpen was a disaster at the end of the year. They were toast.
They were. That's why
nothing
they
to do.
ended up
I
not
mean,
winning.
I'm sorry. They did not make the playoffs because the roster was not good enough. They did not, miss the playoffs because David Ross mismanaged the team. Now, I will say this, Kratz, just like what AJ mentioned, the Cubs value the manager position. So they said, hey, we think Craig Counsell's the best manager in baseball. It's worth the extra whatever, few million bucks compared to what the average manager salary is right now. That's nothing, right? In the grand scheme of what you pay for a player, it is nothing. So if we think that makes a difference, and it did for us in the past decade with Madden over Renteria, and we won a World Series, and we think that he was a big part of that, then this is easy for them. If they said, hey, we have the opportunity to sign the best manager on the market, period, right? They do it. That's what they did.
And they've watched him. They've probably gone into every season going, Brewers aren't better than us, outside of maybe this year. The Brewers aren't better than us. Like, how? And then at the end of every season, how the heck do they keep beating us? Well, the first shoe to drop is they get Counsell. Does this mean they're going to set off a huge offseason for the Cubs? Or are they thinking, well, we bring in Counsell, we pay him more than we've paid any manager or anybody's paying any manager, and we'll just kind of continue to just float along with mediocre players and fill in and hope we do well? Or does this mean that they're going to be like deep into the Shohei talk? Are they going to be deep into 2 starting pitchers in the free agent market?
Yes. The answer
all
is
the
yes.
above.
They're
Here's
going to go
my
in.
thing.
Agree?
Oh, they're all in now.
They're going hard this
Shohei,
offseason.
everyone's on the table for the Cubs.
I don't know
now.
if they're going to get Ohtani, but there are a lot of other free agents they're going to go
in
after.
on everybody at this point because of this news. Now, here's my thing about this. Counsell comes here, right, to the Cubs, okay? They're going to be in on every free agent. Nobody saw this coming. If you're every organization in baseball, you might have a manager, you might have a GM. This goes back to kind of the White Sox hiring Chris Getz without interviewing people. Take a shot and talk to everybody, right? Kim Ng hired Skip Schumacher. He wasn't really on anyone's list. Boom. Goes there, they make the playoffs for the first time in 20 years, outside of the shortened season, right? If you're an organization now, all bets are off. You can talk to whoever you want. Oh, we got a manager? So what? You're a free agent manager? Oh, well, we're going to talk to you for a little bit. it opens the door to a lot of possibilities now. GMs, managers, coaches, right? Everyone needs to be like, oh, David Ross is there. He's got 2 years left on his contract. He's safe. Not anymore. But it also lends you to say, if you're an organization, talk to everybody you can, because you might get ideas and someone might surprise you and be like, oh, we have so-and-so under contract. Oh, boom, we can get this guy who we think better. Let's take him on.
You don't think this is a one-off? I get what you're saying.
No, it's not. It won't be anymore because teams copy. And if this works for the Cubs, it's going to be a lot of nervous managers.
Right now, it's we decide on our manager as an organization. Once we make that decision, then we look at the pool of people available. You're saying now they're going to go, oh, I like someone that is available right now, or there's someone I want to discuss the manager position with. And if I have a good combo and I have a good feeling about it.
Padres and Giants, he wasn't even a free agent. The Giants calling, like, can we talk to Bob Melvin? They're like, sure, we hate him. Get him out of here. Boop. Here you go.
No, everything's fine. Kumbaya.
Yeah, remember, Bob Melvin's going to be back. Oh, he's going to be back as the manager of the Giants. David Ross, 2-year deal. He's got 24, option 25. Here you go.
He wasn't lying. He's going to be back. Giants play the Padres 13 times, so it's probably at least 6 times he's coming back to San Diego.
Right. You can do all kinds of semantics.
But I'm serious. Like, think about it. Like, this opens the door for so many crazy things to happen now.
And also, like, think about, like, the whole – what you just said about, like, guys getting tired. Gabe Kapler, tired bullpen. Maybe GMs think, hey, maybe they think he wore out my bullpen. David Ross, tired bullpen. You know, so it's those are thoughts. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And every team should be clamoring for the best manager as fans.
You're the Brewers. You're our Brewers fan here, and Brewers liaison and Brewers.
Really just the host of Brewers territory and a Brewers playoff legend.
Does this mean the Brewers now rebuild? Burns, next domino to fall, he gone. Trade. Woody's out, right? Big Woo's out. Freddie Peralta, he gone.
Seriously, they should hire David Ross.
That would be
amazing. It would be so fucking awesome. No, come on.
That ain't happening.
Wait.
But think about now the Brewers. They lose counsel.
He's
like, stop.
Hold on.
Role play time.
Do you not think that the ultimate chip on anyone's shoulder of all time would be David Ross if he joins the Brewers and says, fuck you, and tries to win the division every year? Will he not spend 28 hours a day working at his craft to be better than everyone else?
No.
I mean,
you can't.
Are you serious?
You can't change the roster.
You don't think he wants to rip the freaking dagger out of his back and say, fuck you guys. I'm about to rock this division right now.
Here's the problem. He goes to the Brewers. They trade Burns, Woodruff's out.
Well, that's different.
I mean, you can only have a certain roster.
That's a different story.
How much of this also has to do with council being like, looking at the team going forward and is like, Cubs have a lot more spending power. They're kind of on the way up. Brewers kind of have peaked. Again, Woodruff out, Burns last year. Are we starting to see a little bit of the decline in the Brewers?
We've said that before, though. I'm just pointing this out, too. We've said that before. The Brewers had no farm system, and in the past 3-4 years, they built themselves up. They might have one of the best. I mean, they have, a top 2 prospect in the sport. He's a potential superstar in Jackson Churio.
Going forward with resources.
Of course, the Cubs.
Okay, then
of course the Cubs.
But that's why you leave.
But I
didn't even get down. You don't even know what I was going to say.
Did I answer it correctly?
No, maybe not.
Okay.
I was going to say, which one has better tailgating? And you're like, of course, the Cubs. Nope, the Brewers.
No, he was going to say
the Cubs.
He was going to say
nope, the Brewers.
Which Chicago team does AJ like better? And that's you answered it. You answered it right. The Cubs.
The Brewers.
The Brewers are not going to in my mind, they're not going to completely tear down and rebuild. I think they're a reload team. Even if they trade Corbin Burns this offseason, they'll get 2 or 3 other young prospects pitching-wise. That'll probably be good very quickly. I think they're a top 5, if not top 3 team in pitcher development.
Okay.
Minor leagues and big leagues.
Okay, now here's the next question. Which domino falls? Who are the candidates besides Erik Kratz for the Brewers job? Pat Murphy, Erik Kratz.
David Ross.
Christian Yelich. I would have said Stephen Vogt, but he's already a Guardian.
Andy Green.
Really? He's not. You don't think he's going to get? He's not going to get the Cubs job.
Andy Green? No,
he was the bench coach
I understand
for the
what you're
Cubs.
saying. Also, I think Andy Green got a bad rep, and then you flip it around and go, was it Andy Green at San Diego or was it AJ Preller? Because everyone is a manager in San Diego for a minute.
I think Jace Tingler is a guy that could get that look. I'm just going with guys that.
What about? Here's a name: Will Venable.
Yeah, I mean guys that I would say have experience. Not necessarily. Will Venable's not a manager yet, but I think he could be a guy. But I don't think they're going to go after the. I would bet a lot of money. That's my BetMGM lock for today. That they're not going after the Buck Showalters, the Joe Maddens.
No.
Like those don't fit there. And as far as the whole rebuild that you're talking about, I feel like for how I've seen Antanasio, run his money, I feel like they're going to be a perpetual retooling team. How do we perpetually retool? Is there ever going to be a year that they're going to say, bam, splash, free agent? I don't know, but I don't know if they ever want to completely tear it down.
Christian Yelich, they signed him to a huge deal. Boom,
not a free agent, though.
Yeah, but they traded for him and signed him to a huge deal. Derek again chiming in, said Gabe Kapler. Gabe can't go there. There's a roof. He can't tan and wear sunglasses.
No, that would not be.
I'm just saying the Brewers are, even if they trade Burns, I don't think they're going to be a bad ball club next year. Like there's some.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you do? I think you're
Oh.
overrating the division.
No Brandon Woodruff. Cubs are going to be better. They're going to spend. Cardinals are, God, they can't be as bad as they were last year. Right? Pirates are supposed to be better. We say that every year. I know.
So is Craig Counsell that big of a deal? Because Big Woo didn't make that many starts this year. So when he did start, he was elite. But they figure it out. They figure out how to find the pieces. And
Cincinnati is going to be better.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So
Cincinnati's going to be better.
That's Scott's boo right there.
Oh, it's
the
like
Reds?
Brewers have Kratz. I have the White Sox, and Scott has.
I have multiple.
The
teams,
Reds,
apparently.
Mariners, Padres, Royals, Tigers. Braves,
Sorry that
Marlins.
before the season I said breaking news.
No, breaking news: the
hammer
Mariners
the
and
over.
the Padres are going to the World Series.
I also said hammer the over on the Reds win total. Hammer it, and then they started off slow, and I said hammer it some more, and everyone did very well. That was
Matt Arnold's got himself a job now.
Yes, he does.
Got work to do. All right, let's step off for a sec. We'll swing back
Step
and
up, bitch.
Are we going to show fair territory? There it is. This week's topics from Ken include teams to watch this offseason, the manager carousel, dude and dork of the postseason, and Ken answers your questions and Grill and Ken. We'll get a little hot take from Ken later on about the Marlins' new president of baseball operations. Question for you: when you're at the GM meetings, I mean, you don't have to ask this directly, but maybe you do to any of the Yankees execs. I'm confused about the whole process of hiring basically a consulting or analytics firm or whatever it is to analyze what you're doing there. To me, and Yankee fans that are fans of FT have been dying to get back involved in the mix of what they're going to do in the offseason. But it starts with this story that has just come out. Obviously, I might get the name wrong. Brendan Cuddy. Okay, so he puts the story out about that firm and how they're going to look at the way that they're doing things. So I think there's a lot of Yankee fans that have the narrative of they're overdoing it on the analytics side. And also they're like, isn't this the epitome of that? You're having a group that's coming in who doesn't specialize in baseball to tell you what you think you should be doing in baseball. I haven't heard of this or seen this in any other franchise in my time covering the sport.
The Astros did it. The Astros did it several years ago with McKinsey. Yes, and a number of teams, I believe, have done similar things. And basically what it is a business asking an outside consulting firm to review their operations. That's what this is. Now, if you're a Yankee fan, what you're worried about is meaningful change coming out of this. I don't know if meaningful change is going to come out of it. And I don't know that you need a consulting firm to determine what is wrong here. A lot of fans and a lot of media seem to have a pretty good idea of what's wrong. And I don't know that this firm is going to have that same kind of input. They may talk about processes with how the team makes decisions. I don't exactly know what a consulting firm does. I don't know that a consulting firm is going to say, you know what, too much analytics. That's not what they're coming in for. So we keep hearing about these Yankees changes. Oh, big changes coming with the Yankees. They're going to do things differently. Haven't seen it. Off-season's about to begin. So I don't know what they're talking about. Clearly, it doesn't seem that they're talking about Brian Cashman or Aaron Boone. Maybe it's a farm director. Maybe they overhaul their player development somehow. I'm not sure. But so far, it's just all talk, and we have not seen anything of substance.
And now back to foul territory.
What's up? Back
Yeah,
on
I'll take
stadium.
a Cubs job.
Too late.
All right. I'll take a job now.
Are we
5
even-
years, 40 million? Are you shitting me?
We killed our poll
Damn!
because it was about where Craig Counsell's going, and we know. Go ahead. Yeah. You want to report the money?
5 years, 40 plus from
More
the Cubby
than.
Bears?
Yep.
Ooh, say what? Now Kratz all of a sudden's like, I want to be a manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, sign me up.
I would
And
like
Bears
to.
like, I don't
I
want
would
that
like
job.
to put myself in the ring. I would like to put my name in the hat.
All right. Let's look quickly at division futures. Your BetMGM little look at division of World Series winning team. NL Central is going to go down. It's plus 800. I guarantee you that's going to move.
Can you bet on it now and get those locked in? Or does it
Yeah,
change?
yeah, it changes, but it probably hasn't changed that quickly. So yes, if you go on there right now, do you think that the NL Central now is a better chance? First of all, I think that's underrated there anyway. I mean, the AL Central is plus 1100. I'm not touching that, but the NL Central with the Cubs, the Reds, the Cardinals, I don't think it's crazy that you could see one of those teams go off in the offseason and become a World Series contender. Just saying.
Well, no, but the Cubs are going to be all in. If you're paying your manager $8 million, you ain't rebuilding. I mean, you're retooling.
Right, they're
you're
going all
for it.
in.
Like
All in,
everybody,
baby.
every Japanese guy we just mentioned, they're in on them, including Shohei. Every free agent that we've mentioned, they're all in on them if they can improve the team. I mean, Happen left, Swanson, Gomes is back. They're going to be pretty set, Suzuki and Wright, but they're going to have to find some players.
That's right. Bonus code FOUL for your $1,500 first bet offer when you download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS, Android, or at BetMGM.com. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We'll come right back with Andrés Giménez and Max Muncy joining us in hour 2. Plus, the Marlins have a new Pobo.
So I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's up? Hour 2, FT Live. Max Muncy's going to join us soon, fresh off an extension. Before that, Andrés Giménez on his new manager, Stephen Vogt. Erik Kratz can actually give him the scouting report because you know him much better than Andrés does, at least before they have dinner or have a little cute phone call or something like that. But today is Manager Madness. Manager Madness. So we're getting more news about Craig Counsell. 5 years over 40 mil from the Cubs. Todd Rosiak, who covers the Brewers, said that Milwaukee offered him in the neighborhood of $5.5 million per season, which would have easily made him the highest paid manager in MLB. Everyone expected the Mets to throw $7 million per season or more at Counsell. No one expected the Cubs to do so. Wow. That's cute. 5.5 and saying, hey, Craig, we're going to make you the highest paid manager at 5.5. But if the Cubs are offering you 8+ a year, that's not even close. You got destroyed. They swept you up in your own division and spit you out and said, you're not offering him what he's worth. That's what happened just now. That's a fact. You can say we're making you the highest paid manager, but if another team comes over and blows your offer away, this is the equivalency of, in free agency, some top-end starter getting an offer from one team that's like 165 mil, and then another team goes, we'll give you 200. It's not even a question. Forget about the location and where everyone's kids go to where and whatever.
Matter, but this came down to one thing and one thing only. Money, 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 money.
I'm sorry. If money, let me ask you
can
a
buy
question.
A jet for that amount of money. He's going to make more and freaking fly back and forth.
So let me ask you a question. Let's just say a team on the West Coast ended up being the team that was the Cubs that offered him 8.5, okay? And 5.5 was the offer from Milwaukee. Knowing what we have known, the one thing we knew, Kratz, was that Craig Counsell was a part of the players' union, a prominent part of the players' union when he was a player, fought for guys getting paid what they deserve, trying to bring that same mentality to the manager position. And I think he will change the manager position during this time period now to get certain guys of value paid to a better standard for the work that they do. So this was about money. Now, yeah, if a team offered 8.5 and a team offered 8.3 or whatever, okay. But clearly the Cubs blew him away with an offer and he goes there. So I do think that it is number one about the money, number two about the money, number three about the money.
I mean, I don't know if there was a question in there. I think it was just a comment. I completely.
Well, I know. Can I tell you why? Here's the question. Do you think at the intro press conference, they'll be like, was this about being close by to your kids and your family and stuff like that? You know what's close to anybody? A private jet if you make an extra $3 million a year.
That's real. Like you can go day game to night game and go and see Minnesota play Penn State in Penn State. Like, I don't know. Like, it's definitely good for him because he's not going to get injured. Good for the Cubs. Good for him. Like, this contract is going to work out. This contract is going to be worth every penny that he got and that the teams got. And he knew that. He wasn't sitting there like, oh, man, it'd be neat to be the highest paid. He went in to try to change it to the point where he changed my mindset about managers. Like, holy smokes, $8 million a year? I'm waiting to re-up my foul territory contract now because I'm getting blown up on my phone here. How many managerial? Oh, still none. Never mind.
I'm going to have so much leverage.
Yep.
I mean, yes. Does this affect the rest of the manager positions?
Has to. It has to. Why would it not? Especially if a manager's sitting out there going, oh, well, I have 2 Manager of the Year awards. I have 1 Manager of the Year award. Craig Counsell never got that award. So I must be a much better manager. I want to renegotiate my contract.
Okay, so
it has to.
So under the radar, though, there is a manager who is replacing a legend, and we're going to bring on one of the prominent parts of the Cleveland Guardians ball club right now. Our friend Andrés Giménez joining us. What are you doing? Our friend Andrés Giménez joining us right now. Andrés, how you doing, dude? And first up, before we get to that, congratulations on another Gold Glove Award. Incredible job in the field. We've seen trick plays. We've seen consistency, elite range, the whole deal. So how did you feel when you heard that you won the award?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's been a long time. Obviously excited and happy with my family. I had the chance to have my whole family here watching the TV, so it was a special moment for me.
Andres, where'd you get that poster, man? You already got the poster behind
This
you
one?
over your shoulder? Yeah. Have you with the other Gold Glove?
That one was a gift that my mom gave me last year.
Is she going to get you another one this year? Because now you have 2. Is it going to be like you back-to-back?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Oh, okay. Well, how excited? I mean, again, it's pretty awesome. Back-to-back Gold Gloves and everything that comes along with it. But, enough about you. There's other news now in the Cleveland Guardians world. You got a new manager.
Yeah, that's what I read. We got a new manager. We're excited. Let's see what we can accomplish together. Good expectations and positive.
Are you mad that it's not Tito and Tito wasn't joking? Tito wasn't like, you wanted Tito to be like, I'm just kidding, I'll come back.
No, he was really clear. At the end of the year, he was 100% sure on the decision that he was taking. And from that moment, I was like, okay, this is it for Tito here in Cleveland. So yeah, he was really serious on that, and looking forward with the new manager.
¿Cuánto significa para manager en equipo? How significant really is a manager for a team? Like, you guys go out and play. Tito, he can barely make it out to first base, let alone get a hit to get to first base. Like, you guys are the ones that are playing.
No, it means a lot. Obviously, in the clubhouse or even in the dugout, just the presence, the way that they treat us, and the confidence that they give us. Just it can be talking, it can be practicing or whatever. The presence and the confidence that we can get from them, this is really special, and I think it means a lot having a great manager in the clubhouse or in the dugout. I think it's really important for a team.
Do you feel like you have to be a leader now? Obviously, Hosey's there too, but do you feel like when you lose a manager that's been there for so long, muchos años, now you get a new manager, and you feel like you have to be more of a leader than you were this year?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I think we have so many good guys there, and they have time in the league, and they can be good leaders in the clubhouse or on the field. But we got Jose there, so he's gonna take care of us.
Andres, when do you think you'll get a call from Stephen Vogt, and what would you like him to say to you? What will make you feel comfortable as one of the leaders of this team and locked up to a long-term deal to have a great relationship with the next guy that's going to be running your clubhouse after only knowing what it's like to have Tito, one of the best in the biz, for a long time?
Yeah, I don't know when it's gonna be because the news just come out today, but I think it's gonna be next couple of days, and it's gonna be special for us, for me, and the team, to know him. And I've been hearing great things about him, so we're gonna be in the right track.
Do you know about his comedic ability? He is one of the funnier players in baseball. He does impressions. So are you prepared for that? And because was Tito funny? I mean, he was funny when we had our manager meetings. I feel like this is like a different level of comedic ability, Kratz. Am I right? Like, this is somebody who puts time into his bits to really make sure that every single person in the clubhouse is kind of falling out of their chair. That kind of funny. Are you prepared for that?
Yeah, I mean, Tito was funny. I think he was, he was telling you the truth, but he was doing it in the funny way. So yeah, I'm expecting kind of the same meetings, kind of the same personality out of Bug. But let's see. Let's see in the spring training or the next couple of days with the meeting. We maybe have some meeting, and I'm gonna let you know, guys, how it's been.
So today has been what we call manager madness because of Vogt being announced, and Craig Counsell is taking over the baseball world right now. It's really a unique case, Andres. I'm curious to get your thoughts on how he might change the industry. So Craig has been one of the better managers in the sport for a while. He is going to be the new manager of the Chicago Cubs. He goes within the division to another ball club that is paying him significantly more to do that job. He was a part of the players union, not just as a current or as an active player back then, but actually like one of the team reps. He was a big deal in that world to try and make sure that players were paid what they should be paid, right? Like, to help set the tone for guys like you now to be able to sign long-term extensions. He's trying to do that with the manager position. Do you have a lot of respect for that? And do you believe that managers are underpaid and someone like this will help to raise the bar?
Yeah, if it's gonna work for the game, I'm all in on that. If it's helping both sides, I think I'm on that. I'm positive on that way. But yeah, I just see some couple of news about the managers, and I think they hired 3 managers today, something like that. And yeah, he probably gonna change the manager's position with the money.
Andres, you're from Venezuela. You're
Yeah,
very proud being from Venezuela. You played for Venezuela in the WBC. Carlos Mendoza, Venezuelan, manager of the Mets, right? Is he
yeah,
only the second Venezuelan ever to be a big league manager other than Ozzie Guillen full time?
yeah. And Miguel Cairo was a manager last year for a little bit in Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, but I mean
But
full
yeah,
time,
Carlos,
right?
I got the chance to play with Carlos and last year in Winter Ball, so he was my manager when I played there. I had the chance to have Carlos in the WBC. He was the main coach there, and he's from the same city that I am. So I know him really well, and he's a great guy, really smart guy.
Wait,
what do you-
so you got to tell us something about Mendy because he was the bench coach. He was the bench
Yeah.
coach when I was with the Yankees in 18, 19, and 20. So
Yep.
what do you
Yeah,
what do you have
I
about
can
him?
tell you, he speak both language perfectly. He's really smart guy. He knows a lot about infield. He knows a lot about the game. He like to study the game every single time. And one thing that I can say about him is he's really professional on the game. So he take the game really serious.
So you used to be in New York. Now
Yep.
they're not gonna trade back for you just because Mendy's there. They're not gonna trade back for. They already got rid of you. How
No,
is he
I'm
gonna
good
do
where
in
I
New
am.
York? What's that?
I'm good where I am.
Okay, you're good. You're good. Yeah, you're really good
yeah,
where you are.
agreed.
Mucho oro. How's he going to do in New York? How is his personality going to handle being a manager in New York for the Mets? Because he was a bench coach with the Yankees.
Yeah, I think he's prepared. Coming from the Yankees, I think he's ready to be a manager, and if he's in New York or whatever, I think he's ready. But like I say, he's really smart. He's gonna make adjustments down the road, and like I say, he's really professional. So he's gonna take the job how he has to do it. So I think I expect good things for him.
Okay, verdadero or falso? Tim Anderson will be your shortstop, AA partner next year. True or false? I
Can
say.
you repeat?
Verdado o falso? True or false? Tim Anderson will be your double play partner in Cleveland next year.
No.
No. Falso.
Falso. Sí.
He's a free agent.
I don't know. I maybe play shortstop next year. I don't know.
Yeah, have they talked to you about that? Playing shortstop?
No. They asked me, but I'm good.
You say no. You say go 2 Gold Gloves. I'm good. I'm gonna stay right where I am.
It just depends what the team needs because they have a deep prospects there. They're really good. One is better than others, so they can play shortstop. They can play second. They can play third. They can hit for power. They can run. I mean, they have really good prospects there.
I tell you what, they're not going to do. They're not going to play third. You guys have a third baseman. You guys have a second baseman. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to play third anytime soon.
Who?
The prospects.
No.
I mean, Jose Ramirez ain't going anywhere.
No.
Andrés Giménez isn't going anywhere.
Well, he's just saying though, Andres, you truly, and we talked about this a little bit several months ago, and I'm guessing it stays the same for you. You truly do not care at all, right? If you play second or short, either one, they call you, you're in a long-term deal, you just want whatever's good for the team.
It's just the best fit for the team. If they think we're going to be a better team with me on shortstop, I prepare myself this offseason, to be on that page. But if the best fit for the team is with me playing at second, I'm going to keep playing at second.
So that's my follow-up is, I know you don't care which position you play, but how much easier does it make your offseason if at some point you get at least an inclination, right? At least a chance of, hey, I would prepare yourself more for second, or hey, I would prepare yourself more for shortstop. How much would that help you?
The thing here is that every offseason I prepare myself in shortstop, right? Why? Because it's gonna be easier for me when I start playing and going back to second. So my off season, every time I practice at shortstop.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, he prepares to play shortstop.
Yeah,
and it's a shorter throw, so he can then move to second. It's shorter throws. Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you stay in Cleveland in the offseason, or do you go back to Venezuela?
No, I go back to Florida.
Oh, Miami?
No, not Miami.
Orlando.
No, not Orlando.
You're gonna just guess every freaking city.
There's a lot of Venezuelans in Orlando.
There are. I know there are. Martin Prada's here, right?
Victor
Miami
Martinez,
and Orlando.
Fabio Abreu.
What'd you say?
A lot of Venezuelans.
You're not going to you're not going to tell us, are you?
Secret location.
You guys are gonna be guessing. I'm gonna wait for the right answer.
I mean, it's not like he's in Lake. He's not like he's in Lakeland.
St.
Lucie. Yeah, St. Lucie.
He got it.
Yeah. Good. Next time I come down to Jupiter to play golf, I'm going to call you and be like, I want to take some grounders at shortstop. What can you teach me?
Yeah, I can teach you. We have to dance. Learn how to dance.
Oh. Yeah. Well, you might do that this weekend.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
What kind of dancing? Because I can salsa and merengue. They're the same thing.
Salsa, merengue.
Ah, see? All right.
Yeah,
okay.
Easy.
Are you going to be my partner?
I can teach you.
Let's do it. Man.
Hey, Andres, question for you about the Guardians. What do you want to see them do this offseason, right? I mean, you're with this team. You just saw what stood out, what didn't. I know you're going to tell me, they're going to make the decisions. That's fine. But what would your dream offseason be for the Cleveland Guardians? You have your manager now. What else do you want to see the team do coming up for this season so that you guys do what your entire life's goal is to win a World Series?
Yeah, that's the main goal. I really trust on the front office that they're gonna get the right guys to help us to win ball games. But I don't know. That's a good question. Hard question. Because we have the guys. I feel like we have a really good team. But that's a really good question. Maybe a right-handed power hitter, maybe.
That was going to be my suggestion. So I'm sure you look at the stats. Your team did not have a lot of power, right? And I actually saw something yesterday. So I believe that the top two teams in terms of contact, right, the least strikeouts, were the Nationals and the Guardians, which I believe were also the top two teams in terms of, or I guess the bottom two teams in terms of home runs. So in your mind, can too much contact actually be a detriment? Like, can you have too many players that are bat to ball oriented and contact oriented, but don't have enough power? Does it have to do with the player profile? Does it have to do with the way that the team is looking at how they want to build their offense? Because Cleveland loves having contact guys. We spoke to your former teammate somewhere, probably Nolan Jones. I think you spent a little bit of time with him, and he said, hey, I had too much swing and miss in my game for Cleveland, so they traded me to Colorado. I love contact, but at the same time, a team needs to hit homers. You got to bash baseballs to win a World Series, right?
Yeah, I feel like you need a little bit of everything. The guys, they have the contact, the guys with the power. I feel that's a combination, right? So this year, it didn't work, but next year's probably it's gonna be better. The guys that we play, the guys are gonna make adjustments for next year. So I'm hoping and I have a big expectations on changing that number on the homer. Well, when we talk about homers and extra base and everything, I have big expectation for next year that's gonna change.
How do you do that though? Like, how do you hit more homers? Do you hit the gym more? Do you make swing adjustments?
Oh my God, I don't know. When I have the answer, I maybe tell you because it can be in the weight room. It can be a pitch selection. Try to put the barrel on the ball more consistently. I think I mean, for me, I just keep it really simple. I don't think too much on it.
Get it out front. Click it out front, Andres. That's how you hit homers. Just click them
hit it
out
on
front.
the barrel.
Click them out front. Huh?
Yeah, right.
Hit it
Get the good pitch and put the barrel on it.
out front.
Enfrente.
Out front.
Sorry, tell Vic
That's what Jose
Rodriguez. I want to tell Vic Rodriguez you want to hit the ball front. You want to be like Big Poppy. He'll be like, okay, Poppy.
Yeah, I think next year a couple of guys are gonna hit the ball in front.
There you go. I like it.
Or they sign or firma de Jorge Soler.
Oh yeah, he knows how to do that, huh?
He
got
knows how to hit the ball out in front.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 30 something, right?
Coming to Cleveland, Shohei Ohtani.
Wow.
Hey,
Go ahead. Let's finish with that, Andres.
Hey, I was gonna ask that. I was gonna ask. You know the Players' Choice Awards? Tu sabe? Voting for the Players' Choice Awards.
I think that's for what? I don't.
When you got the ballot, it was the last couple weeks of the season.
Yeah,
you
but
get
that's
the ballot.
the MLBPA, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jugadores a la votación.
Votaciones.
Yeah, votaciones. You think they got it right? Acuna had a better year than Shohei Ohtani?
Who did you vote for Player of the Year?
Huh? What is it?
Who did you vote for Player of the Year?
I put Ronald Acuna.
Of course, Venezuela, Venezuela, merengue.
No,
tell Kratz why.
I mean, both guys do something crazy this year. Like, it's not for a human, you know?
I said,
yeah, but
I said Acuna.
Cerca. I said Shohei. Like,
okay.
Al bateador, a la cerca era lo mismo. Pero Ohtani pitches.
Can pitch, yeah. He's
¿Por
crazy.
qué?
¿Por qué Ronald?
¿Por qué no Ohtani?
I mean, I put him last year.
Over Judge.
I know he's dominating the league every single year, but I wanted to put Ronald because 40-70 is not something that's gonna happen every year. So I don't know. I feel like the impact that Braves were having at that time was significant too. So
that's fair.
I agree.
All right, so
they're a first place team, 40-70, historic year. That's why.
Yeah, you might do it again next year. And Ohtani's not pitching next year, but he's still hitting next year, and you guys need power. So if you don't get Jorge Soler, let's say that Shohei Ohtani is watching this show right now. Okay, he's a free agent now. You're allowed to talk about him. What is your pitch to Shohei Ohtani on why he should sign with the Cleveland Guardians? Let's just make up a scenario where he gets a nice offer from Cleveland and he calls you and says, why Cleveland? Why would this team stand out to me more than other spots? What would be your recruiting pitch?
I will say the team is great. The fans are great as well. It's not a lot of media in Cleveland. The only thing that you have to learn in Cleveland is how to play with the weather. That's the only thing.
Okay, well, fine. Then my response as Ohtani would be, I would like a retractable roof, and then I will sign there.
I will say no, Shohei. That's not going to happen because they are doing another stuff on the stay in the ballpark. So too late.
Okay, sorry. All right, well, I'll see you in the ALCS then.
Wait, have you ever faced
what?
Shohei? Have you faced Shohei?
Yeah.
What's your stats? Well, and
1 for 2
with
basic to the other way with a split.
Malotubia.
Yeah, I got lucky that day.
Yeah, right.
1 for 2. Yeah,
that's good shit.
That's right. You know what? That's why he didn't vote for him. He'd have been 0 for 2 with 2 punchies. He would have been like, oh yeah, sure.
You got him. You got him.
Yeah.
I like it. Well,
I like it. Plus Venezuela.
That's right. Andres, Great to catch up with you again. Congratulations on the Gold Glove.
Thank you. I hope to
Appreciate
see you guys soon.
Yes,
All
same
right,
here.
yes,
We'll
sir.
talk to you later in the offseason. Cheers. Andrés Giménez. Yeah, we hadn't talked to him in a while. He was like, hey, it's been a minute. That's right. So good to
Good
see
for
him.
him.
Good to catch up.
It's a big deal too, by the way. Mendoza getting the job.
Yeah, I want to spend some time
We didn't
on
really
that.
get into that, but
We're not going to yet,
being from
but-
Venezuela,
Yeah.
Venezuela is a huge deal for Major League Baseball because there's a lot of players that have come from there. A lot of big players that Andres, Miguel Cabrera is probably the most famous player to come from there.
Jose Altuve.
Jose Altuve.
There's a ton.
There's
I
a
mean,
ton now.
Team
But
Venezuela in the WBC was
it's
stacked.
right? But now Ozzy was the only manager from Venezuela forever, and now another one. So it's great for Major League Baseball, great for Venezuela, great for the Mets.
Mhm.
And I think that's a big deal and needs to be spoke about more often, is that being from Venezuela is a big deal.
And Kratz knows him. So Kratz, after this, we still have a couple things to get to, but let's bring in our next guest who's ready to go right now, fresh off a contract extension with
Yeah.
the Dodgers, and also just seeing all the baseball madness going on today, manager madness. Max Muncy joins us right now. Go ahead. There you go. Congratulations, dude.
Yeah, man.
Give us the play-by-play of how it went down.
It was just kind of something, once the season ended, we reached out and, we started talking about what we wanted to do. And, for me, the most important thing was staying as a Dodger for more than just the 1 year that I had with my option. And, we made that very clear. We wanted to be here longer than just the 1 year. And, they agreed with us on it, and we were able to get a deal done.
I love it. But was the thing that put it over the top the fact that you went into the Baylor Sports Hall of Fame this weekend? They saw that announcement and they're like, we got to keep this guy now.
I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but it capped off a pretty good week for me. It was a really fun event down there, and it was fun hearing stories from some of those guys. Ken Quisenberry, that guy's a hoot. He was really knocking it out at the banquet.
I like it. Great photos here too. Okay, so yeah, you had quite the week. I'm going to ask this to many of the players we bring on right after they sign, because we talked about this, I think, in March with some of the players we had on, and maybe you're the guy that can kind of kickstart this. When you sign a contract extension, do you do anything special? Like break out a good bottle of wine, champagne, go out for the night, toast with the fam, anything special, or you've done this already too many times?
No, it's always special. There's no such thing as it, doing it too many times for us. We had a nice steak dinner, and then we actually ordered some cookies that we had read about. They're a little they haven't shown up yet. They're from this place called The Last Crumb. They're a little ridiculous when it comes to cookies, or so we've been told. So we wanted to try those out. And we thought that'd be a good kind of gift for the contract extension.
What kind of cookies are we talking about here? Like, I love cookies. We put icing on these things, or what?
They send the whatever the head baker puts in the box is what you get, but it's like $150 for a box of 12 cookies.
Shit, they better have some gold for real in them cookies.
They better show up warm. That's all.
You got like Crumble, you got Levain, you got a lot of good, good cookie places, and now all of a sudden it plays $150 for 12 cookies.
Yeah, we had heard about these, and we're like, you know what? If we get a deal done, we're gonna order some, and we're gonna try it. It'll be
good for you.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, that's what, $13 a cookie ish.
It's
okay.
Probably pretty big, right?
Max is like, I don't know, I don't speak that language. I'm even richer than I was before.
Oh,
$150 to me. I don't
know.
know.
It was just, we would never do something like that. But like I say, it was just one of those things where, hey, this be a fun little treat for ourselves. And
he's like,
so they haven't shown up yet. We have no idea what they're like.
He's like Baylor Hall of
we'll
Fame,
see.
check. Contract extension, check. Private plane, check. $150 cookies,
no.
check.
I mean, a lot of guys will drop serious money on wine, champagne, whatever. 150. I mean, how much is Cristal? 500?
Yeah, but I mean, you get 12 cookies for 150. It's a good deal. I love cookies.
I'd be way more full off 12 cookies than a bottle of Cristal.
I'm about to order. You know what? I'm on the website right now. I'm about to order some and have Scott eat them all and see how fat he can get.
You know I won't be able to,
I
but
know, I'm just
okay.
going to tease you with them when I eat them like this.
It won't do anything to me. I'm allergic to gluten and dairy. I do not want to put poison in my body. If they're gluten dairy free, I'm all over it. Anyway, so Max, more on, I guess, the discussions with the Dodgers. Do you want to be a Dodger for life? And also, do you feel like in your mind, I'll phrase this in a couple different ways, you're a value or, a team discount, whatever you want to call it, because you don't hit the market and because what you've got in LA means so much to you, if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was a really hard discussion that we had to have with ourselves. There's no telling what my market would have actually been. But we felt like the deal we got is definitely undervalued, but it was something that we discussed that the value to us was being able to stay in LA and keeping my family in LA where, my kids are comfortable now. My wife's comfortable there now. And, we had to kind of talk amongst ourselves and just kind of try to decide what the number would have been to relocate them to another city. And, we really didn't know what that was. And, more than likely, even if we didn't have any discussions, the Dodgers would have picked up my option and I would have had another year there anyways. But just to know that my family is going to be able to be there for a couple more years, that to me was kind of the more important thing. And, it's an organization that I love. It's an organization that, I've been there a long time now. And, when I was out of baseball, they gave me a chance and, they kind of helped me rediscover my love for baseball and rediscover myself as a player. And, they've been loyal to me. They've stuck with me when I've had some downs and, that's meant a lot to me. So for me, it was kind of a no brainer that, the thing I wanted most was to be able to stay in LA for more than just 1 year. And, this gives me an opportunity to potentially be there for 3 more years.
Do you feel like you have to keep these feelings under wraps? Because if you tell, if ownership or whoever's making these decisions, the GM, Friedman, if he finds out, Max's wife, she loves it here, we can get a little bit of a discount. Do you feel like those are things that you have to keep under wraps, or do you feel like there's a relationship there with Andrew that you can be like, hey, I'm just laying it out there. What do you guys got?
I feel like my relationship with Andrew is good enough that that's not something that's really going to taint us. I think both sides agreed that it was a little undervalued, but that was kind of the risk we were taking. And the way for me to prove that it's undervalued is I got to be a good player again. And if that's the case, then I'm playing well, and that gives us a better chance to win. And that's really all they care about was winning. I never, for me, rediscovering my love for baseball and everything was about winning. It wasn't about trying to make the most money or anything like that. And so if I was never that player before, why would I start being that player now? And being in a place that has a chance to win, that's the biggest thing for me. And that's where I'm at with that right now. I want a chance to win. And if I'm going to do it anywhere, I might as well do it in LA, where it's a place that I love. I love the fans there. I love the organization. I've done a lot there, and I'd like to keep doing a lot more there.
I love that. Big leagues hasn't changed you. Money hasn't changed you. That's awesome. You're still the roots of who you were when you were in the minor leagues, grinding it out. But does the little bit of discount, are you hoping that it goes to Shohei and you get to hit with Shohei? You can talk about it now. He's a free agent. It's not tampering.
Yeah, it's that it'd be really cool to have him over here. There's no doubt about that. He's an unbelievable player both ways, and I'd love to be his teammate. And I know that the Dodgers have a lot on their plate this offseason, and I do feel like that was something where me being able to come to my agreement early is just going to help them out, and they know what else they have to do, and I know they're going to go out and they're going to make some moves. That's what they're going to do for sure. They're going to make our team as complete as they can. They always do that every single year, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And obviously, I definitely hope that Shohei's part of that.
So now that we can talk about him more freely, what's your pitch? We had Andrés Giménez on just now, and let's be real, Cleveland's not a very realistic option for Shohei Ohtani. It's what we do on this show. We don't have to worry about it.
You didn't tell Giménez that.
I didn't tell him that?
No.
Yeah, well, why don't you think I told him that? Because I wanted to get his genuine pitch. This one's real. So if they ask you to be a part of anything, would you be a part of it, right? Would you be in LA if he's there for a meeting or on a virtual call? And what would you contribute? Like if he said to you, hey, dude, why here? I mean, everyone's saying that I should end up here and I'm a front runner to end up in this spot. But realistically, what's going to stand out about this team over any other organization? You're one of the guys that's been there for a long time now. Why should I sign here?
Well, the organization's first class. It's all about winning, but they don't lose themselves in creating that winning culture. You know, they really care about the player. They care about the player's family. They care about everything associated with the player. You know, they're not just going to stomp all over you and treat you like you're, you know, a pile of trash if you're not performing for them. I've seen them go above and beyond multiple times to get guys into situations that work for them. You know, even if it's not with the Dodgers, they've traded guys to situations that is a better situation for them. And I've seen them do it time and time again. And that's one of those things where that's always stood out to me is this organization really does care about the player. They obviously want you to perform for them and help them win. But if there's a better scenario out there for you, then a lot of times they'll help you out and they'll help you get to that. And, you know, that just shows the kind of people that are running this organization from the ownership all the way down, you know, to the training staff, to the clubbies. Every single one of those guys cares about you. I can't tell you how many times I've had owners reach out to me and just talk to me, and you know, and front office and the trainers. Every single person is on the same page and wanting the best for you while also wanting to win at the same time. And I feel like that's pretty rare in sports these days.
Max, Scott loves the role play, so we're going to role play here a little bit. I'm Shohei Ohtani. I'm coming into LA for a visit. Where are you taking me to dinner? What are you buying me? What are we doing for the day?
Well, if that's the case, the first person I'm probably calling is either Mookie or Freddie, and I'm saying, hey, you guys definitely have a better list of places than I would. So where are we going here? You know, probably. I feel like they would probably say Nobu or somewhere like that. Go over in Malibu. You know, we don't go out a ton for us, so I wouldn't be the best person to do that scenario for Shohei. They definitely have to call someone else.
Okay, well,
Nobu's not a bad spot.
No,
especially the one in Malibu's got a nice view.
I have a unique suggestion though, because Shohei's pretty mysterious. You know, he hasn't spoken to the media in the last few months, even in general, and we don't know a ton about what he's looking for. There's one thing I know for sure, because I've read all about, you know, his routine and what he does, especially during the season. His one thing that he does to kick back and relax at the end of the day is something that probably half the league does. Do you know what that is?
No.
Video games.
Oh, he's a gamer.
He's a gamer. So who would you set him up with on the Dodgers to play some video games to hang out and unwind after the fancy dinner with Freddie and Mookie?
Besides myself?
Ooh.
I mean, Mookie's also a gamer. Caleb Ferguson's a big gamer. Evan Phillips is a gamer. You know, I might toss him towards Evan Phillips, Caleb Ferguson, just being on the pitching front. I mean, a lot of our guys are gamers over here too. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely something that's pretty big across the league.
What do you play?
I play everything. Well, I play whatever I can when I get a chance with the two kids. It's I don't get a ton of opportunities anymore, unfortunately. So you know, I try to be a dad first. There's no doubt about that.
If it's like, you know, 10:30, kids are sleeping and it's the off season, will you play against some teammates?
Yeah, sometimes. You know, a lot of the guys are on Apex right now. I think a lot of them play that. I'm sure with Call of Duty coming out here soon, a lot of guys will jump over to that one.
Hold on. Did you play in the Fortnite thing the other day, the biggest day in the history of Fortnite?
No, I didn't.
Did you
I
see
was
that?
busy.
Did you see that, though? It was like 45 million people played Fortnite when they redid the game.
He's got kids.
Still, I figured he could be one of the 45 million that logged in for a couple minutes and, I don't know, snipe somebody or get in the Jeep and you can run them over.
I was one of the few that wasn't doing that.
Okay. Yeah, because it was the biggest day ever for Fortnite. My son played in it. My son did it. He hasn't played Fortnite in like 3 years. He's like, I got to play Fortnite. I'm like, what?
It's good marketing right there.
Great marketing.
Julius
Kratz, while we're on the topic.
Julius Justine was definitely in it. He was the best Fortnite player I've ever seen. But
really?
That was That was circa 2018. But I got a question for you.
Kratz. Go ahead.
All right.
Okay.
Up.
So you're a player. Did you vote for the Player Choice Awards, or did you hand them to your clubby and say, fill these out for me?
I believe I voted yes.
Okay. Did you see who won? Because it was announced here on Foul Territory.
I have not seen it. I haven't been on social media and stuff a whole lot lately. So
Who do you think should have won? Shohei Ohtani or Ronald Acuna?
Gosh. Oh
For
my
Player
God.
of the Year.
For Player of the Year.
If Shohei would have been healthy the entire year, I would have maybe went with that one. But to me, there's some merit to being able to play the entire year. And I know that's probably not a fair answer, but to me, there is a little bit of merit to that because you can't always control what happens to your body, right? But to me, there's always a little bit of merit to those guys that can play, the entire year. And, Marcus Simeon's going to get a lot of votes from me, that's for sure. He played in all 180 games or whatever it was for the Rangers this year. That's something that always stands out to me is when a guy's able to take care of themselves enough to be able to play every single day for an entire season. And I think that holds a little bit of merit in my mind. So I would pick Acuna just because of that.
And the 40 homers and 70 stolen bases. Let's not forget about those.
Yeah, it
things
doesn't
that he
hurt.
did.
Well, I mean, obviously that doesn't hurt.
So things, that have never been done before. I don't know.
No big deal.
Kratz is very, very emotionally scarred that Shohei didn't win an Acuna. He's asked everybody for the last 5 days now.
I'm going to ask for the next 9
He's going
days,
to ask
too.
everybody.
Oh, it's good. It's a great debate. I like it. And I think Player of the Year is a great award, and it should be highlighted more.
No,
It's
I
the
agree.
One player.
Especially
Everybody's pitching
Yes.
because everybody's pitching and hitting 40 dingers. So I forgot about that part.
Yeah,
But
they are.
Max,
It's not a big deal.
but Mookie finished third, just so you know.
He
Yeah.
did. Not bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Max, I know you said you've kind of laid low for a little bit, but did you watch any of the World Series? Because, since we last spoke to you, that Arizona team ended up taking their talents all the way to the World Series and falling short, but still had a really great season. And I know, last time we spoke to you, definitely kind of bittersweet about how things ended for the ball club. But specifically what I wanted to ask you about is the fact that you go years back and the Dodgers were able to celebrate in Arizona's pool. And we got word that there was security standing around the pool when the Rangers clinched their World Series title in Arizona. Hit or error or, whatever you want to call it, like party foul that they were blocking that?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously we didn't get the chance to do it, but they did put out a memo when we played Arizona in the playoffs this year that we would be allowed to celebrate in the pool if we had won there. So I don't understand why for the World Series they said, no, you can't do it. I definitely think that's a party foul. I think, it's probably the only place in baseball that has a pool. And, I don't know in the big leagues, at least, I don't know of any other big league stadiums that have a pool out there. You got to take advantage of that. If I was on that team, I might've found a way to just sneak in there somehow.
That's what AJ said.
That's what I said. You go through the bullpen, you climb the fence. You get one of your family members run around the field crazy and jump in. No one's watching. Nobody will ever know.
What are they going to do? Arrest you for jumping in a freaking pool?
That's what I'm thinking. Or if you just have the whole team just bum rush the 8 security guards. What are they going to stop you? They're not going to arrest you.
Yeah, I think they should have found a way to bulldoze their way in there. I definitely call party foul there.
Okay, because also I'm thinking, if anything, your division rivals with them, they would have stopped you guys and been okay with Texas. What did Texas do? It's just
whoop
the
their
Rangers.
ass. That's what Texas did.
I know, but it's the Rangers. And in fairness, Seawald comes on this show all the time, and he's one of the more, personable, vocal Arizona Diamondbacks players. It's a great interview. And he was like, hey, any team that wins on our turf, go for it. And I know he's kind of new to the party there, but he was just like, yeah, obviously. Why is this a big deal? It's a fucking pool.
Well, I think there's been a couple run-ins with us in years past. Obviously the Dodgers did it back in 13 or 14, whatever year that was. And I think a couple years after that, they've had chances to go and do it, and they've made a big fuss out of it. And so I don't know if that was something that stood out for them this year. That they've obviously made a big deal out of it before. But yeah, I don't know why they decided to stop it with the Rangers. I don't know if they. I mean, I can't imagine they're using the pool a whole lot in the off season, so you wouldn't have to worry about it breaking or something.
Max, so in 14 we clinched the division. I was with the Cardinals at the time in Arizona, and there was strict. I mean, the Cardinals called us and were like, "Do not go in the pool," right? So the only thing I have to ask you is, when you jumped in the pool, did you pee in the pool?
Well, I didn't jump in the pool.
He didn't.
He
wasn't
didn't
on the
get to
team.
go in.
No, it was in 13.
No, I
I
wasn't.
thought they did it later. I thought the Dodgers have done it since. No?
No.
Oh,
They
okay.
did it that one year, and they've never let them do it since.
Okay, well then my question is, would you pee in the pool?
I don't know. I'm hoping by the time I'm getting in that pool, there's been a lot of champagne and beer going on. So, who knows what's going to happen.
Let it out.
That's the most politically correct way of saying,
Yes.
hell yes, I'd pee in the pool.
There's just all kinds of liquids in there.
I love it. That's why they put chlorine in the pool, Scott,
That's right.
so you can pee in it.
I'm well aware. So
I peed
Max,
in AJ's pool already.
Yeah, but I was like, grown-ups were turned blue. The blue stuff came out. Is it true?
That'd be a
That's
good
an
way to
urban
prank some
myth.
people for sure.
Hey, I want to finish with this topic because it took over the baseball world and wanted to get your take on it. Did you see the news about Craig Counsell taking over the Chicago Cubs position? And for me, the unique spot of a guy who was a big part of the players union in the past, thought that it was important for him to set a new standard for managers because, frankly, managers in his mind should be paid more. And he got at least $40 million over 5 years, and he's going to be by far the highest paid manager in the game right now, and try to bring that up for all other managers. I mean, you've played with one for a while, and also just to talk to the importance of what that position is, and are they in general underpaid?
Yeah, the manager brings a lot more to the team than I think people realize. If you're able, I think you see it with teams every single year. There's always a team where they talk about, oh, the manager lost the clubhouse, yada, 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 all this other stuff. I definitely think there's a lot of merit to being able to control the clubhouse, control the guys, and getting guys that want to play for you. I think that's if you're able to set the standard where guys want to come in and play for you, and they're not always complaining about you behind your back and going to the media about you and all this other stuff, that creates a culture in its own. And so I do think that a good manager brings a lot to the table. There's no doubt about that. And if with that being the case, they probably are a little bit underpaid. But that's it. That is an interesting topic because that's definitely not something that gets talked about a whole lot.
Oh, and the bar's clearly been set. Like Nightingale came out and said, there's no other manager in baseball earning more than 4.5 a year. And word was that the Brewers offered him 5.5, but 8+, that'll get it done.
It's not Max Muncy money,
that'll
but
work
close.
for sure.
Yeah. But like he said, they do a lot.
They do, dude. They think, okay, and Max, I think, would attest to this. Like, coaches and managers are there so long. They get there like 10 in the morning for a 7 o'clock game. Now, I don't know like what the first base coach does for those 6 hours before the game, before we got to go take BP. But they got to be there because the manager's like, well, if I don't show up at 10 a.m. every game, I'm not doing my job. And then they're there like 3 hours after the game. I mean, it's a long road.
The coaching staff's definitely there a lot longer than players are. Like you said, they get there super early. If we're flying out after the game, right, all the players are kind of party playing, having some drinks, enjoying themselves. The coaches are all got their portable Wi-Fi out, and they're doing reports, and they're looking at scouting reports for the next series instead of enjoying themselves. They're always working, and they're looking at tons of information. You made the comment about the first base coach. Well, most of them are looking at pickoff moves and anything they can pick up to help guys steal bases. And on top of that, the majority of first base coaches are probably outfield coach on top of that. So they're doing their scouting reports for the outfielders and doing whatever they can to help them out. They're always working on something, and they're there a lot longer than we are.
All right, real quick. How pissed would you be if Doc went to the Giants? Because Count's going to the Cubs. I mean, I know it's not that historic rivalry, but up there, Cubs and Brewers is a rivalry. How would you feel if Doc was like, hey, Max, I'm going to go take the Giants job. Beat it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel a little betrayed. There's no doubt about that. And I think you guys know I'd let him hear a piece of my mind.
Okay, but what if he goes, yeah, they gave me $12 million a year, you'd say. Do you, baby?
Hey, I'd say good for you. You're still going to hear a piece of my mind, but you
Okay.
can also send me some of your wine while you're at it.
Yeah, exactly. Max, are you banged up now? Are you
What?
banged up? Or are you healthy? Because you were kind of banged up at the end of the year. Are you back to good now?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We'll be good for next year. There's no doubt about that. We're going good on off-season workouts already.
Did you know something about Kershaw when we asked you last time? It sounds like he's going to come back, I think, but he announced that he had shoulder surgery. Did you send him a note?
I did not know he was going to have surgery. I knew he was feeling it pretty good, but I didn't know he was going to have surgery. So hopefully everything goes good for him. And, obviously I hope he's pitching for us when he comes back, but I just want to see him on the mound again. And that to me, I don't care. I don't care who it's for as long as he's out there. Obviously, I hope it's for us, but I just want him to be able to get back out there and compete again because I know how much he loves to compete in the game of baseball and what it's meant to him. So he's a special guy to watch, and hopefully we all get a chance to do it again.
He can't, Max. You might have to forfeit some of your salary to get him back in the Dodgers uniform because
what do you mean?
He can't pitch in another uniform. There's like certain people that are just meant to always be in a certain uniform, right? And Kirsch is one of those dudes.
He's got an annual 1-year offer if he wants it.
I know, but gosh, he's got to come back. I'm sorry, like
he's going to come back.
I hope you know, but I mean for the Dodgers, like he can't. You just can't. There's certain people their whole career. You just look at it and you're like, okay, Chipper Jones, you were a Brave, right? And you're like, gosh, Clayton
Joey
Kershaw,
Votto, you're a
Joey
Red.
Votto, you're a Red.
You might go somewhere else. Though.
I know, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Kershaw, you're a Dodger.
Obviously, I can't speak for the team, but I would have to imagine if he wants to come back, they're going to make it happen regardless of what that means. If it means us going over a luxury cap at that point, they're still going to make it happen. I don't think that would be an issue.
All right. You said you're starting to work out. This is our first Foul Territory off-season program. The kids are clamoring at home. How much you bench?
I haven't maxed out on bench since high school, probably.
All these workout hounds on Twitter are going to be super pissed because
that's good. I don't care. I could care less what anyone on Twitter thinks.
Bench? What does that have to do with warriors? Like, how do guys still bench in?
Yeah,
baseball?
they bench, but they usually do the dumbbells because they don't want to hurt their shoulder because if you get
with a bar,
it hurts the shoulders. So no, people still bench. Even pitchers do like dumbbell bench. They just don't do it very heavy, but they still do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of dumbbell bench. It's just you can't really max out with dumbbell bench.
Yeah.
Well, you can. You can get to like those 120s, and you go, like those dudes. You be in the gym and you see the guy. Like, help!
No, my favorite.
I think my goal in life is to never become one of those guys that you see a video on social media of them dropping the barbell or something.
Yeah, and then throw.
What's the ones where they raise it above their head?
Yeah.
I've been in. Oh my god.
Power clean or the clean and snatch, whatever it's called.
And they fucking fall. I've seen it.
Oh yeah,
it's awful.
Oh yeah.
Well, Max, great to catch up with you, dude. Obviously, we'll get you later on this offseason. But again, congratulations on the contract extension. And let us know how the cookies are, because I kid you not.
Dude, I just ordered some. I swear, I just did.
AJ placed an order.
We're going to have to discuss these next time.
We'll have a cookie off.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm telling you, they look incredible. We'll see. I hope they're not a bust.
Me too, because I just wasted $150. I'm going to ask for
not
reimbursement.
Not wasted. It might be great. Max, good to talk to you, dude. We'll catch you soon.
All right, sounds good, guys.
So we'll do a cookie off. You can taste them for everyone and let everyone know how the cookies are.
What's your favorite kind of cookie? What do you hope he's making that day?
Cookies.
No, like you like chocolate chip over raisin?
Cookies. I just like cookies.
One cookie.
I don't know if is there a bad cookie?
Yeah, any cookie that has coconuts on top of it.
I mean, it's still a cookie, though. It's like ice cream. Is there a bad ice cream? Scott wouldn't know.
There's plenty of dairy-free ice cream. And
the dairy-free ice cream.
That's not ice cream. But that's not really ice cream. That's like ice non-cream.
I wouldn't go there because guess what? Especially on ice cream, if I put dairy-free ice cream and regular ice cream in front of you and do a taste test, if it's the right place, I bet I can fool you. I actually will guarantee that I can fool you.
Is this the Coke versus Pepsi challenge?
Basically. All right, we have two more things to get to before we get out of here. Number one, let's go to this first just because we didn't really give it much time and you spent some time with him in the organization. Kratz, Carlos Mendoza. Some people asking, including D-Rod, who's usually, there we go, hot corner. In a pretty good mood in the chat. Not in a great mood right now. D-Rod said, Yanks have been criticized the last few years for bad on-field decisions. Mendoza was the bench coach. No bueno. As a Yanks fan, congrats, Mendoza. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. So definitely not in a great mood about the current Yankees situation, and wanted to get your thoughts and kind of said, prove me wrong. Tell me why this is going to be a good hire for the Mets.
Bench coaches really don't, like, as a bench coach, you're not the same person as you are as a manager. A manager has to dictate how coaches are best utilized. So Boone is more of the outspoken type of manager. He's not a quiet manager. So normally you would need a, kind of reserved type of bench coach. And Carlos Mendoza is he does an incredible job of being able to connect with different types of players in the sense of, Latin American, Spanish speaking, English speaking. And he also connects really well with his other coaches. I feel like the bench coach makes that connection in the sense of, hey, I know what those guys need. I have to relay that to the manager. And he is one of the most prepared. He schedules a lot of spring training. He does all that, spring training schedule, which is an absolute joke. If you ever talk to anybody that has to do that, it is so much work. And he is very empathetic. He understands what it's like to be in different situations, even though he didn't have the big league career that other people have had. He's in that New York market. So I wouldn't, as a Yankee fan, I wouldn't say, man, we got rid of Carlos Mendoza. Oh man, here we go, World Series. He was not the reason. Okay, so pump the brakes, D-Rod.
Can I make this case too? Because you can see this in Fair Territory. Ken talks about how maybe we'll get a little shift in terms of manager hires because of Bruce Bochy coming in so quickly and winning. This is not one of those cases. This is a new manager situation. My thought on this front is the Mets spent a lot of money on bringing David Stearns over. He is definitely going to be running the ship there. You want someone that is not going to cause friction from the bat when you're joining a new ball club and trying to really restructure a lot of what the Mets have done. There's still a lot of cleaning up to do in terms of the whole organization. Do you get what I'm saying, Kratz? Mendoza comes from an organization in the Yankees who really run in a similar operation in terms of the front office having the say, right? And this is how, 90% of teams are running right now, where the front office is definitely the top decision maker in terms of not just how the roster is constructed, but then how the lineup's constructed, how the game script is constructed. You don't want someone coming in right off the bat, or at least the Mets made that decision, that is going to cause too much friction. Is that fair to say?
I would push against that. I would say David Stearns is not looking to run. I mean, hey, maybe it's something different that he's going to do in New York. I would not say that David Stearns is somebody that wants to put his finger on top of whoever he hires. He wants to hire somebody that did the job like counsel. Talk, collaborative. What do you know? Hey, this is our advanced guy. What does our advanced guy bring in? If the advanced guy doesn't bring something in, kick him to the curb. Because the way Stearns, I saw him run the organization, it was very much like, I'm hiring people, good people in each situation that I would trust to hire 2 more people in that situation. And then I would hire someone else in another spot that I would trust to hire to build a full, well-run machine at a big league level, but also that coincides and really works well collaboratively with the minor leagues. So I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't see Stearns being a very hey, I got my hand on the button, here's your lineup. He's going to say, hey, you know what? This is what we have. Here's your lineup. I'm handing it over to you. How do you feel about it? Well, you know what? I saw this guy coming in. He came in late 3 days in a row. I don't think that's the type of guy that we need in the lineup every single day. And Stearns won't be like, no, this is what it says. You have to do it. He'll be like, okay, this is how we connect. It's a people-driven, if Stearns runs it like he ran the Brewers, it's a people-driven organization that now has just endless Uncle Steve cash.
Okay. And then lastly, on the news front, which we were planning to get to way earlier, but the Craig Counsell news crashed the day. Peter Bendix is going to take over the front office for the Miami Marlins. It's controversial in how not he takes over, but how the last person that was running the front office departs. We covered it. One of the few places that I saw anywhere covering it, how Kim Ng, in our mind, was pushed out of there for no reason. It has nothing to do with Peter Bendix in my mind. I mean, he's done a really nice job in his role with the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's get a little more from Ken on Fair Territory, which just came out today.
Peter Bendix is exactly what the Marlins were looking for. They wanted someone who had been with the Rays, someone who had that experience working with a low payroll team and making them competitive, someone who is analytically oriented as well. They wanted both those things. They had initially discussed or talked about going after Chaim Bloom, but that didn't go anywhere. Chaim Bloom has a year left of getting paid from the Red Sox and didn't really want to make a change at this time. So they end up with Bendix, who of course has been the Rays general manager under Erik Neander, and a guy who obviously has had success in fielding a competitive major league team for not a lot of money. So what does this mean for the Rays? They've lost people before, right? Andrew Friedman, James Click, Matt Arnold, you name it. And now they're going to have to find one more replacement to work under Erik Neander. Erik Neander is still the head of baseball operations. They have people internally they can turn to. They are, as always, a progressive, forward-thinking organization, and I expect that they'll keep rolling along with really minimal disruption.
Good stuff from Ken, and much more on Fair Territory, which is out now, YouTube and wherever you get your pods. So it sounded like Chaim Bloom was also asked about this job, and he turned it down and didn't want to go there, at least for now either. So here's what I see. One of the top 5 phrases or storylines that I use on this show in baseball is that so many teams, so many owners specifically, want to be like
the Rays.
The Rays.
Spend money.
What's the best way to do that? Bring in someone like Bloom or someone like Bendix who's been in the organization. They want to know what the key ingredient is to the secret sauce of running an operation that is consistently competitive in a difficult division by spending very little money and making a ton of profit. No team wants to do that probably right now more than the team that's in the same state that can drive a few hours and see how they run. Well, it doesn't look as good in person sometimes because the ballpark sucks and the attendance wasn't there in the playoffs. But the Rays, by any other account in baseball, when they're at the owners' meetings, they sit down, they shake Stu Sternberg's hand and go, "Congratulations, dude. Your team is good and you are making a ton of money." That's a fact. And that's what other owners aspire to be like, especially the Marlins, because they're not operating with the same budget as many other teams, right? They can't convince people to fill up that ballpark consistently. So they want to be like the Rays. They don't want to spend money. And in my mind, that's partially why they bring someone over from that front. Now, does that mean that Kim Ng couldn't run a team in that way? No. At the same time, though, she might have made some suggestions like, hey, this free agency, we should pick up this, this, and this. And they might have been like, well, we don't want to do that. The Rays don't do that. They're not going to sign anyone big like that, right? I mean, there could be friction just on the simple fact that Kim, and go back to Derek Jeter when he was there too, said, hey, can we spend a little bit more to be competitive during our winning window? And, they kind of smacked their hand off of the checkbook.
No, you cannot spend anything. You have $4 million that you can spend the whole offseason. Chaim Bloom might have gotten to the part of the interview and gone, wait a minute. They only let me spend how much last year of the Red Sox, which wasn't very much. I'm only going to get to spend this much with the Marlins. I'm good. I'm still getting paid by the Red Sox. I'll just go home and do some kind of advisory role.
Yeah, listen, the Marlins made the move they made. We criticize them for getting rid of Kim Ng, obviously, but the thing for me is each organization does what they want to do. I mean, they're going to make the decisions they're going to make. We just talked about Craig Counsell taking over for David Ross. You just never know what's going to happen. They're making the move, the best move they think for the Marlins organization. And Peter Bendix moving from Tampa to Miami. I mean, he's probably getting a pay raise, he's getting a promotion, and good for you.
Okay.
Only 30 of those jobs.
That's right.
It's true. Only
No matter
30
how-
owners, and they get to do whatever the hell they want.
True that.
All right, let's slap. You have something for us?
I do. Huge match today.
Is this a soccer thing?
Yep.
Oh, my God.
Huge match. Here we go. Let's go. Come on, you Spurs. Big game today. They're playing Chelsea.
I'm just watching video of them entering the field.
This is back. Welcome home.
All
Welcome
right.
home, Spurs.
I give everyone permission to leave the
As you see my shirt
right now.
Come on, you Spurs. They spell it like a derby, but it's called the Derby versus Chelsea. Fuck them. Let's go Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
All right, good luck to you. Good luck to your team.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. See, look here. It's
More
starting.
interestingly,
Look, they're about
it's
to
starting
kick-
now.
they're about to
Kratz,
kick off.
what's on your head?
Hey, Jay, it was really close. Iron Pigs.
The War Pigs.
Lehigh Batty Iron Pigs. I feel like I
that
see
looks
this.
like a patriotic hog.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I see this pig in AJ's backyard when we go hunting with Scott, and he can rub the blood all over his face.
Mm. And Scott's gonna have to eat the meat.
Yeah,
I can have some pork. I'm okay. Thank you.
that doesn't have flour in it or onions.
Or taste.
Or
Wait,
taste.
I had a great tweet that I saw. Dan Lennon, I forget what publication, he goes, by my count, Carlos Mendoza does have some MLB managerial experience. He replaced Aaron Boone 24 times after ejections and also suffered him twice on his 2 suspensions. Let's go. A lot more to get to on Tuesday, obviously, to keep unraveling all of the news and finish up manager musical chairs. That was a Monday.
That was a lot of shit went down.
Craig Counsell, you owe us.
Oh
dinner.
yeah. Happy birthday, Lindsay, our intern, one of our interns.
Happy birthday!
One of the few that haven't left us for greener pastures.
That's not true. Vinny Pasquantino tomorrow. Pasquatch will join us. We'll see you then.